There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
The iconic brand Cerwin Vega means so much to so many in this industry, and with its roots in pro audio, the company certainly has evolved and now has a very modern offering for the most relevant categories in mobile audio today. This is CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM, Cerwin Vega, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and on today's showcase, we're covering an iconic brand indeed, Cerwin Vega. Stroker, you remember those subs? Man, those pounded for sure. But the company has certainly kept up with the times and have developed an incredible product for just about every category that is relevant today. We're talking motorcycle, we're talking power sports, marine, and beyond. So today we're going to do you a favor and teach you all about what Cerwin Vega has to offer right now. To do so, to join me on our voyage today, we're going to reach out to their Canadian distributor at Importel. He is the 12-Volt Viking, Jaron Gelmeland.
How's it going today, Ben? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, and we're talking about a pretty exciting brand that's got a lot of buzz going on. So many new products coming down the pipe, so many products introduced in the last year and a half, 2 years, and a brand that is showing a lot of energy. Would you agree?
Oh, certainly. I think it's an old school name that everyone knows if they've been in the industry for a long time. And we're here to show some of the great solutions they have for new products that are coming out. They're really hitting the ground running with new stuff coming out. And these are very tailored solutions, but solutions that are going to be great for dealers.
Absolutely. Solutions is a really important word, especially in today's market, especially when you're talking about very niche, very specific, application-specific type stuff. I know they've been gaining a lot of traction, and I want to say, if I had to choose two, they're doing a lot of things, but I would say in motorcycle and in power sports, pretty heavy-handed what they're offering.
Yeah, certainly. They've jumped full tilt into motorcycle and power sports, and they have some great products. And we'll wait and see what they're like, and not what they're like. They're going to be good quality, but wait and see what the offerings they have are.
And you know what else is exciting, Jaron? I don't know how far we have Bryan coming on today from Cerwin Vega. I don't know how far he's going to take it or how much information he's going to give us, but there's some new product that I heard, some rumblings of that will be pretty exciting for, let's call it the motorcycle, power sport, marine category. I don't want to take the win from his sales, but I hope he talks about it a little bit. So without further ado, why don't we reach out to the training and technical support specialist over at Cerwin Vega. His name is Bryan Piper. I'd like to welcome him back to CMA. What's going on, Bryan?
Hey, how you doing?
Cerwin Vega Day today, sir. Cerwin Vega Day today. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Lots of Cerwin Vega product, lots of fun topics and categories, and I think I might have a couple of things that you guys will really like to talk about that might be coming in the future.
Give me a little bit of catch me up story time here. Like, for those that said, "Oh man, I remember Cerwin Vega," or "Man, I didn't know Cerwin Vega is doing this kind of stuff." Like, what's happened in the last 5 years with Cerwin Vega?
The last 5 years, we learned to focus on a few things that are becoming big in the in new niches of the industry. So motorcycle has become huge, power sports have become huge, and now you even got like plug and play kits for different vehicle specific stuff. Broncos, Jeeps, other vehicles, but we found a few places to play, and then we kind of we didn't reinvent the wheel, but we made a better wheel. When you talk about marine cans and marines type stuff. So I'll show you guys some of that. And then DSP. DSP has been a big thing for, several years now. I mean, we're going back, about 15 years into DSP, and we've seen a lot of need in the outdoor, arena of people wanting better sound. So we have kind of embraced that, and we have some fun stuff to show you guys with DSP.
And just to be clear, like let's call a spade a spade. Cerwin Vega is still very strong in the pro audio side of things, and that's where the roots are, really, right?
Yeah, our roots are in pro and home audio, since the 50s. So we so one thing we did, the company that owns Cerwin Vega, about a year ago, maybe it's been a year and a half, somewhere around there, we acquired the home and pro division from Gibson. So it's all now under one house. We have everything together again, and are working on developing even into that arena, but the trickle down of what pro audio has been and is, and the way that we're able to take that knowledge that we've had for so many decades and kind of bring it into what is popular and becoming more popular in car audio again. We kind of have that advantage.
All right. Well, I understand that you have a full presentation that is top to bottom, and why don't you give us a breakout of what we're about to cover today?
So we're going to talk motorcycle, we're going to talk motorsports, we're going to talk marine, and we're going to talk DSP. And those are really, and I do have some stuff on Jeep, some vehicle specific Jeep items, but really those are the main categories that are the hot categories right now. And so we're going to focus on those today.
Fantastic. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up your presentation, Bryan.
Okay.
Jared and I will go away. When we come back, we'll pelt you with some questions. How's that? We'll discuss it further.
Sounds like a plan.
Here we go.
All right, guys. So we're going to talk products. Let's jump into it right away. So the first thing that I want to talk about is motorcycle audio. One of the things that we released earlier this year was our 2014 and newer Harley Davidson lid kits. These are a cut-in lid kit that is very similar to other brands that were on the market, but we did a few things to make them a little bit better. One of the things that we are very proud of the way we do our kit is we don't use like regular plastic type screws that just screw into plastic. Our lid kits are held together. The grill and the main frame are held together with machine fasteners and threaded inserts. So if you put something on a bike like this where it shakes a lot or vibrates a lot, there's always a tendency that a screw could come loose. So with ours, we went ahead and used machine fasteners that will allow you to put a little thread lock or something like that on it and thread them in, and you don't ever have to worry about them coming loose. They are designed to hold all of our speakers, adapters, and everything that is needed to fit them. We have them in 3 different speaker options that we will discuss here in a minute. They do come with all the wiring and hardware needed to assemble and get it installed on the bike. As you guys can see over there on the side of the frame, we've got from no lid kit to the finished version. These are tight, waterproof seals. They don't leak. When they're assembled, they fit like they're supposed to, so we don't have a problem with anything like that. So from there, let's go into some other Harley pieces. So what we have here is you've got some Harley specific plug and play parts. So the first one we're going to talk about is the CT link, and what this is. And actually, you know what? I do have one of these. Let me grab it. so you guys can see this. It is a plug and play harness that plugs into the factory radio on one side, the factory harness on the other. It gives you RCA outputs, which are really high level output just with an RCA tip, but it plugs directly into all of our amplifiers. Has the load resistors built in for the radio to be stable. And then you also get, you get the speaker outputs on the other end. And depending on how your bike is equipped, you'll either use front only or you can use front and rear. So you could have up to 4 speakers already pre-wired at the front of the bike and you don't have to run any wire. Okay. And then the last thing you have on the harness, if we get into doing DSP, then you have the wiring to go ahead and add your DSP right into the harness and you don't have to run extra wire. So that's what the CT Link is. It comes all bundled up, ready to go. These are very fast. And the great thing about this is when you're doing Harleys, Harley-Davidson has gotten very particular about if you cut wires in their harnesses, they will void your warranty, or they can void your warranty. So plug and play allows you to not have to cut any wires to equip a bike with a fantastic audio system. The second part I want to talk about is the CBY-PLG. And what these are jumper plugs that allow you to connect the rear speakers. So when you if you have a bike that has a boom audio or CVO or something like that, where it's got the factory amplifier in it, you unplug the factory amplifier, use one of these 5 jumper harnesses. They all come in one pack. You use one of the the jumper plugs, and it puts the rear speakers at the front of the bike for you. So between that and the CT Link, there's no running wires to the back of the bike anymore, unless it doesn't have rear speakers in it already. The last one is the CWHK, which is a pre-wired and fused 8-gauge amp kit that runs from the battery to under the fairing. It is a predetermined length that's ready to go. So you're not having to cut spools of wire and figure out what you need and end up chopping off more than you need. It's all already there, predetermined length for you. So very easy to do, very quick accessories that you can add to your sale to make the entire job much easier and much faster in your bay. Next, we're going to talk speakers. So these are the popular options for motorcycle speakers. And so what you have is we've got our Cerwin Vega Pro mid-range series, which are available in a 6.5, an 8, and a 6x9. Those are mid-range only. They are sold as single drivers. So if you are doing a bike and you want 2 6.5s, you got to buy 2 of them. And then you pair those with one of the compression style tweeters that we have, the PR SRT or the PMO75. So these are very efficient. They're high efficiency compression tweeters that combined with that mid-range create a very, very loud, clean front stage on the bike. A lot of guys will run them on the bike and in the lid kit, but it's options for a very clean system that's really affordable. When you want to take the step up and get into something a little bit more powerful and a little bit more, what's the word? I don't really know how to describe this other than you can hear this for blocks and blocks and blocks. You get into our Stroker Pro series and the PH series or Pro horns. These are a coax with a Pro Audio style mid-range with the compression horn built into the speaker. So instead of having to have a separate spot for your tweeter or trying to mount it on the grill, it's all built in and it's one piece. They are powered separately. So there's an included crossover network for the tweeter. And then you either run them active on independent channels or you can tie them together and run them on like a 2-channel amp could run two corners of the bike on the fairing or something like that. But definitely can be run as an active set. We see that done quite often. Those are very high power, very lightweight cones. They are water resistant, but not 100% waterproof. But again, this is a rider bike situation where it's not going to see tons and tons of water. So we get a lot of guys that will do these, add in the coax sub, which I don't have here on the screen, but we do have a coax sub that is a 6x9 that goes in the lid kit and gives you a more full bottom end. So it gives you a fuller sound overall. So the next evolution into it is if you want something that's got a fuller sound and still very loud and lightweight. So that is one thing that I love about this Stroker Marine series. They work great in motorcycles. They are almost as loud as the Stroker Pros, not quite, but they do play a little bit lower into the lower mid range and into mid bass. They are 100% waterproof. They use a metal dome tweeter. They have integrated LEDs if you want to be cool and have fancy lights on your bike or your boat or whatever the case may be. It does require a separate digital LED controller, but it is all capable. There are plugs already built into the speaker for the LED wiring. It's a plug that plugs in, and then you just run the wire to the controller. The 10-inch that we released earlier in the summer, the big thing with it is, one, it's huge. It's a 10-inch speaker. So we've seen these guys put in the sides of saddlebags, and then it has a compression tweeter in it instead of a metal dome tweeter. It is still waterproof, same as the others. It just uses a different style of compression tweeter. And these things are very, very loud, even in the sides of a bag, but they give you some improved bottom end. So that's the big question on bikes all the time, is to get as much of a full sound as you can. These will definitely help increase that capability. Let's talk amplifiers. Cerwin Vega has 2 compact chassis amplifiers available right now. We have the Bomber series, the Stealth Bombers, and then we have the VCU or Vega series. The big difference between the two is the VCU has radio frequency interference rejection. So being that it is a Class D amplifier, we have a circuit in there that helps reduce the interference when you're trying to get FM or AM signal on your radio on the bike or wherever you're using it. These are water resistant coated circuit boards. And the thing that is really popular in the VCU series is that we do offer it in a 6-channel version. So if you're doing a motorcycle, you have your fairings, your lid kit, and your tour packs, or you can do active setups with tweeters on 2 channels and then 6s and 6x9s on 2 different sets of channels and get everything processed and EQ'd through a processor very easily and still maintain great sound with one amplifier on the bike. I will mention both of these take high-level input, low and high level, up to 10 volts, and they have frequency responses of 10 to 33 kilohertz. So they are basically a high-res amplifier. So for motorsports, this is our newest kind of offering. Is we are doing plug-and-play vehicle-specific kits for 3 different vehicles. The first one we'll talk about is the Can-Am X3 Maverick. This is we have everything available from a radio, amp, and dash speakers to what you see here, where you have the radio, the amplifier or amplifiers, depending on the kit you're using. Replacement dash panels, 6.5-inch pods that mount on the back rail behind your head, and then it comes with 1 subwoofer. You can add a second subwoofer because the subwoofer enclosure is universal to the left or right side. So if you wanted to add a second one, that's always an option on these. These fit 2017 and up. They do not fit the Pro model X3 yet. We are working on something for that. It is just not currently ready. There are two different versions. There is the dirt version and the mud version. Dirt being that this comes with an amplifier with a coated board and is designed for guys that are going to run, mountain trails and go out on the beach or something like that. The mud version is for the guys that are going to go get them wet, where they're going to get wet inside the vehicle, potentially into the dash area and things like that. So the mud version comes with waterproof amplifiers. So that is the big difference between dirt and mud. Everything is built from high density, high impact HDPE. So all plastic panels that are OEM feel and look. Then we're going to get into the Polaris Razor. And this one has by far the most kit options available, because you have 2 and 4-door options on the Razor. So you have everything available from an amplifier and the front door speakers, all the way up to something like this, where you have all 4 doors, the rear pods, a subwoofer, and multiple amplifiers. We have a Razor demo vehicle that we have set up with this kit. Excuse me. And it is very impressive to listen to it and to hear it. We set it off a couple times at some different shows, and it definitely draws attention. And when you want to be heard from a long ways away, it's there. Again, multiple configurations from very simple to full, complete, over-the-top system. Again, dirt and mud versions available. These use the SM series speakers, so you can light up the LEDs in all of the speakers if you choose. The one thing that I will mention on this vehicle is you have to have the factory door frames. You cannot use aftermarket door frames with these. It has to be the factory door frames for our bolts to line up correctly, our bolt holes. Okay. So the next one that we're going to talk about is a very simple one. This is the Polaris XP1000 Ranger. This is a simple system. It is 2 speakers and the radio. You can add an amplifier if you choose. Just not a lot of room in these vehicles for a lot of gear. 2018 and up models does have the integrated LEDs, and you can add the optional controller, which is the RPMD LED. Uses a phone app to control it. All of these systems you can upgrade. You can add more to them if you want. They do all come with, if you're getting the radio, they come with our CMR3 radio, and the dash cat is built to house it. It has a factory look to them all the way through. So the other thing that I'll tell you on these that we have found that is really good is to add DSP to them. Our Can-Am X3 has a DSP in it, and being able to control and get that sound just fine-tuned on it is absolutely incredible. So a little bit more. This is for the guys that are looking for some sound, but nothing too invasive, or they don't have a vehicle that the plug-and-play kits will fit. You have sound bars, and we have lots of guys doing these where they'll do 1, 2, even 3 or 4 sound bars and get them all rolling together. The great thing with ours is they do have auxiliary in and outs, so you can link sound bars together, or you could do a sound bar and add an amplifier and a subwoofer if you wanted to. They have built-in LED controlled by a phone app and built-in Bluetooth receiver. So you don't need anything else other than the sound bar to have music on your side-by-side. Something very new for us, and we will be expanding on this segment of offerings, is the newer Jeep JL and JTs. We currently offer 2 different sound bar replacements, I guess you would call them. So you can either do the cut-in kits like you see here at the top. These come in a 6 and a 6x9 option, one or the other. And basically what you do is you remove the sound bar. You use the metal plate that's included with these to trace and cut out the sound bar where the 4-inch speaker is currently, and then you go ahead and bolt that metal plate in, mount the speaker, and then the grill bolts in on top of it using the factory bolts that came on the sound bar. The other option is to do the plug and play replacement sound bar, which is an entire sound bar that has either 6x9s or 8-inch drivers installed in it already. So all you do is remove the sound bar and pull the wiring out of the roll bar, add this piece in its place, and it fits in factory on the 2018 to 2022 units. We are still waiting to verify on 2023 as there's possible changes to that vehicle. The one thing that we will tell you on the sound bars, if you have the Alpine factory system, it does not plug and play. You have to run a new amplifier or add an amplifier to control the sound bar, as it doesn't plug into the factory harness. That is pretty common across all brands that do this. We will have coming down the road for the Jeep JTs. We're working on a couple of different subwoofer enclosures for under the seat. I'm hoping to have more on that early next year. Marine canisters are very popular, and we just launched a new series of marine cans. So in the 8 and the 6.5, we have two different versions. We have the standard can, which is the black ones that you see here. And then you have the SL series, which is a longer canister. So it just gives you a little bit deeper response. And then what we did on all of our new pods, they have a 4-inch passive radiator built into the back to give you a improved bottom end mid bass response. So they will give you a little bit fuller sound than what a lot of other speakers will do in this kind of category. So it's the 6 or 8, and it has that 4-inch passive radiator on the back. Or if you go really big, we have 10-inch cans that also have the same 4-inch passive radiator on the back. These do use US manufactured voice coils. The 6 and the 8 have 1.75-inch, and the 10 is a 2-inch voice coil. They have all the integrated LEDs that the Stroker series marine speakers have. And then there are optional brackets available for different sizes of tubes. And they do come in the box with a flat mount as well. So if you're doing something where you don't need it on a tube, but you want to mount it flat, that's already included when you buy them. So this is the big thing for us this year. DSP. We got into DSP and released these about July, I believe it was. Maybe it was June. Excuse me. Currently have the 6-channel version available, which gives you 6 full range inputs, and those are addressable. So if you need to do summing or want to use one set of inputs or 2 sets of inputs, but all 6 outputs, you can control that in a screen on the software. Gives you 15 band fully adjustable parametric EQ. So you're able to adjust the frequency, the amplitude, and the Q of the channel or of each band that you're controlling. Fully adjustable crossovers, including high pass, low pass, and you can set them for band pass. Adjustable infinitely, whether you want 63 hertz or 10,001 hertz, whatever you want it to be, it is fully adjustable. You have Linkwitz Riley, Butterworth, and Bessel crossover types available. It has built-in Bluetooth for audio streaming. It uses a USB to program, so you'll have to connect to a laptop or a desktop and download the software. These do include a conformal coated board. They are not waterproof, but they are water resistant for motorsports applications. So next, what I want to show you guys, I want to show you what the software looks like, and we can kind of talk a little bit about that. So here we have the software for the DSP. It is very simple, very easy to use, single page functionality. The only thing that you do differently that's on a separate page, you go into the file up at the top and open up the IO configuration to set your ins and outputs how you want them. So what then you have in the beginning, you would start in here and you go to the connect button. That's how you connect to the DSP from the software. And then from there, it's all in the software. You have your time alignment over here on the top left. And this is something where you can just set the distance. You don't have to measure it yourself. You can adjust it for centimeters or inches and set distance, and it will calculate the time delay on its own. Below that, you have your adjustments for your crossover. Like I said, you can do Butterworth, Linkwitz Riley, or Bessel crossovers, fully adjustable. 6, 12, and 24 dB adjustments for slope. At the top right, you have your independent channel gains. So you can link channels together. You can link your crossovers and things like that by linking them in this section here. You can invert the phase 0 or 180. You can mute speakers output here, and you can control your output gains from this point. Or you can do a master control in the where it says all. Once you get into the EQ part of it, if you're using something with a touch screen, you can basically click on one of these, grab it and drag it and move it wherever you want, up, down, left, right. Or you can go down in the bottom section here and set the FC for whatever you want it to be. So whatever frequency you want to control, adjust the gain, and you can adjust the Q. The Q is adjustable from 0.5 to 10. So it can be very narrow or it can be very wide. That is optional if you have something that you need to get a very specific frequency under control, or if you're trying to just cover wider bands to get a little bit more overall sound. Once you've done all of that, you would go into the presets. You select the preset. You have 6 options in the preset. You save it to the preset, and you're done. And then you can go into the file drop down and save it to your laptop or desktop as a external file away from the DSP as well. So if anything ever happens, you can just go in and reload it. That's really it. It's a very simple kind of DSP. Like I said, Bluetooth streaming available. So once you connect via Bluetooth, the first time it will always look for Bluetooth and connect to that option first. So if you're doing Bluetooth and analog input and you want to use analog, make sure you turn the Bluetooth off on your phone as far as connecting it to the DSP. And then let's talk about what we've got for 2023. So coming in 2023, we are already developing. We have samples of it in-house of a 98 to 2013 lid kit for Harley Davidson. This has been something we've been asked about a lot. Shortly after the new 14 and up lid kit came out, everybody wanted this. So we immediately started working on that to get it developed and are hoping to release it soon. We just got our samples not that long ago, so we are finalizing that to get those going and get them in production. The 8-channel version of the DSP will be coming. The big differences here is, again, 8-channel in, 8-channel out, and it will use a 31-band parametric EQ as opposed to 15-band. Everything else will be very similar. The size on it is not much different. Here, I do have this one. I'll show you. This is the 6-channel DSP right there. As you can see, it is very tiny. It's about 3 by 3 by 1. Okay. Has the built-in streaming antenna here. Okay. Very simple, easy to use, but very small and compact. The 8-channel version of it is not much bigger, maybe an inch or so, if that, in length. And then what we have, and we're really excited about this, the VCU series of amplifiers will be adding an integrated DSP series to the line. So we will keep the same non-amplified amplifiers, non-DSP amplifiers will still remain, but you will have an option that has the DSP built into it. The really great thing about this is in the samples that we've seen, the amp adds maybe 1/4 of an inch or so to the overall length, and that's it. Nothing else changes. So everything else is the same. The width and the height of the amplifier is exactly the same. We add about 1/4 of an inch to the length, and you get example, like on a 4-channel amplifier, you'll have 4 channels of input and 6 channels of output. Four channels output on the amplifier speaker side, and then you have 2 RCA outputs to connect to another amplifier. The 6-channel version will likely not have auxiliary outputs. It may. I'm not familiar on what that's going to be just yet. But even the mono block will have auxiliary outputs coming out of it that are DSP controlled. So you can use a mono block VCU DSP amplifier to connect to, say, an amplifier you've already had that didn't have DSP in it already, and both will now be controlled by DSP. Along with that, we've got a few other things in the works that we're not ready to show, but 2023 looks like it's going to be a big year for Cerwin Vega and the dealers getting some great new products from us.
Mr. Bryan, thank you for an exceptional presentation, first and foremost.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to keep this presentation on here, if you don't mind. I knew he was going to take it away. If you don't mind putting it back, I want to rewind back to a couple of notes here.
Okay.
Let's go. I actually can control that. Let me go back to the slide I want to start with right here.
Okay.
If you don't mind. So, like, first and foremost, Cerwin Vega's got a mega catalog. All right. Like, if you didn't know, now you know, right?
Yeah.
Because this
I mean, overall, we've got something like close to 500 SKUs.
Okay, so this is where I want to start.
Okay.
If you're a dealer and you're into motorcycle, Cerwin Vega has got you covered. Like, look at this selection of speakers and drivers that fit every budget and every type of performance, from compression to waterproof to LED to the basic pro mid-ranges, the different style tweeters. Jaron, this is like basically what a bike builder needs right here.
Yeah, it's huge options for a bike builder. Like you said, it's the full range, right? No matter what you need or what that customer's looking for, you have a solution for it in Cerwin Vega. It's perfect for a dealer.
Now, something I'll mention real quick.
Yeah.
Something I want to mention real quick. I showed 2 tweeters on this presentation.
Mm-hmm.
We have like 8 or 10
for sure
different tweeters. So it might even be more than that. I know we've got a couple of new ones that are on their way. So these aren't the only options. There's lots of options to pair with these pro mid-range speakers.
I'm a big fan of those Stroker Pro ones. I think those look killer. I bet you they sound killer. And even the marine ones on like a power sport application with the LEDs and they light up. I mean, that's just like winner all the way around right there.
Yeah.
And,
you know, it's I've seen a lot of it from some of the shows. I saw some pictures from the Sand Sport show when part of our team was there. And there's these side-by-sides with these LED whips and all this different stuff on them. And, you know, being able to add that into the speakers, you know, it's always been a fun thing with LEDs and car audio. So it's just expanding out.
100%. Now, this is where things got real serious. I'm going to go back to the amps in a second, but these right here, like, this is where it's at. The power sports category is on the rise. I want to point out how well this is put together, the paneling, the fact that I don't remember seeing another one that has RGB lighting, to be honest with you. Maybe there is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments. But this looks really sharp. It has the RGB lighting, which ATV side-by-side driver wouldn't want that. You know, they're already putting, like you said, Brian, these colored LED whips and rock lights and everything else. I mean, this just all goes together. Nice compact amplifiers. Jaron, your thoughts on this? I think this is going to be a hot ticket.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big mover for us, for sure. Just think of the amount of time that you would have to spend building a pod for some of those door panels, or like some of the pods on the dash. Like it would be unfathomable the amount of time you spent to build something of that quality. And Cerwin Vega has it with speakers ready to go. Like it's a
like a custom molded underseat subwoofer enclosure. Like, why try building that?
Yeah, there's no point in trying to build that. Like, it's there for you. It's available. It's going to be available this year from us, and we're we're excited about this lineup, and especially with the LEDs, it's like a moth to a flame.
Oh,
Just getting
100%.
people LED.
Question, Brian.
Yeah.
One thing I would just want to, so there's 3 platforms that are available for these kits, right? So you got Razor.
We have Razor, Can-Am Maverick X3,
right?
And we have the Ranger XP1000 currently.
My real question is, how does this work from a buyer perspective? Like, is it available in different modes, phases, packages?
So if you go to our website or you look at the catalog, there's several different packages that are pre-built.
Mm-hmm.
So like for the Can-Am, you can do radio, amplifier, and just the dash replacement panels with the speakers in them. Or you can do all the way up to this. So you could do, there's several different options. There's one with just the dash speakers, the radio, and a subwoofer, stuff like that. So with the Can-Am, it's only a 2-door vehicle, so you don't have a lot of options on it. But there are different packages that are available. And now as far as upgrading it from, like, if you do just the dash kit and dash speakers and a single amp, you can add anything else. They're just not pre-built packages. So you would have to buy another amplifier to add the pods, or you add an amplifier to add.
So there's a lot of options. It's very flexible.
But there are flexible options. Absolutely. Like I said, the most diverse one is when you get into the Polaris Razor, because it's got you have 2-door and 4-door options. You can buy an amp and 2-door panels, or you can buy full kits.
And these are truly full door panel replacements, correct?
They are door panel replacements. Like I said, I mentioned you have to have the factory door for the Razor, but when you look at it, it'll have some bolts on there, and you literally just undo those bolts and plugs, put this panel up to it, and start popping the bolts and plugs back in. The wiring is already wired to the speaker. So all you have to do is you run the wire out, mount the panel, and then just fish it through the vehicle up into the dash.
All right. Now, I mentioned we went and saw all the different speaker array, including the marine speakers. But where is it? Not this, not that, not that. There, these ones.
Yes.
These guys are game changers. I'll tell you why they're game changers. You guys are crafty. I obviously sat in a lot of these presentations and seen a lot of cans presented. These are the ones that are unique. And first of all, for 2 reasons. Number one, they offer a shallow and a elongated version, which usually is only you don't have a choice in that matter. It's one, and that's what you got.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, use of a passive radiator. I'm going to say that again.
Yeah.
Use of a passive radiator. How smart is that to optimize the space that you have to get as much output as possible? Jaron, you and I have spent time on another brand, talking about passive radiators. Several brands use passive radiators. I have never seen passive radiators used to this capacity for this specific type of product.
Yeah, it's certainly one thing that's kind of lacking in some of those pods, especially some of the short range pods, is that bottom end. Like, they throw sound very good, but that mid-bass response isn't there. So adding that passive radiator is really going to push those lower frequencies through those speakers and allows you to hear those lower end frequencies for sure. So I think it's going to be a game changer for sure.
And they look really good.
The thing I love about the 10s, the SH10s, is, though we don't have a longer version of it, the short casing with that pod with that passive radiator on the back, and then those speakers have that compression horn on them. These things are just ridiculous.
They must jam.
Loud.
They got to jam.
When you want to be the guy on the water that everybody listens to, that's the guy. When you're pulling up into the area where everybody's anchoring and partying, everybody else is going to turn off because you're the guy.
Gotcha. All right. Now, save my final and best commentary for the last bit right here. I'm going to go to it. So here we are. Okay, so this, awesome. Small footprint, multi-channel, DSP, conformally coded for, all different types of use. And next level with the built-in Bluetooth for streaming included. Yes, included
Right.
in the box.
Right.
I mean, this is where it should be. 100%. Especially if you already have a system installed, you've invested the money in, a brand new system, and you really need to dial it in. This is it. Pop that puppy in there and dial her in.
So when we talk to consumers and we do training, and we get people asking all the time, well, why would you need one for a motorcycle? Why would you need one for a side-by-side? Well, there's lots of reasons why, but control, better sound, making everything just a little bit better is what we're all looking for, right? Everybody wants just a little bit better sound. That's why we upgrade our motorcycle speakers. Everybody goes, oh, I just wanted a little bit better. Now, a lot of them want it a lot better, but when you get into the different types of speakers that we sell and other people sell, there are some anomalies that happen where you being able to EQ the overall performance. The biggest thing that happens is when we talk about setting amplifier gains and you look at what these speakers do and how the output comes out of these speakers, you set the gain for most amplifiers at full range at 1,000 hertz. So then what you see is these peaks on either side. So as you're turning the volume up, after you've set the whole system up without a DSP, the top and bottom are going to start to clip before that 1,000 hertz frequency that you set the gain for in the amplifier. So by being able to get these little peaks under control, and you might not get it all the way flat, but you're going to get it under control to where it sounds a lot better. And by doing so, you increase the overall ability of the system to be louder. So you're getting more out of the whole thing by simply adding a small box that controls everything. The other thing that we've noticed with guys going to DSP and us doing some training with them is that we're seeing a lot less blown speakers because crossovers weren't set properly. We all know that the biggest thorn in everybody's side that does amplifiers is that little gain pot, right? that crossover pot and the gain pot. But the crossover pot is the big one because unless you have very specific tools, there's no way to know if you are actually at 80 hertz or 150 hertz or whatever the case may be. And so if you're off especially if you are trying to be at 150 hertz and say you're at 100 hertz, because the variance in that pot, you could do damage to speakers very easily. So with a DSP, you go in, you click some buttons, and you tell it exactly what it is, and that's what it is. There's no guesswork. It's precise. If you want 150 hertz, it's 150 hertz.
Period.
If you need a sharper slope because you need 24 dB and you want it to be like, a cliff that the frequency's falling off of, the output, then that's what you get. So by doing that, you get more control over what the speakers are or are not able to do by limiting the capability in the crossover and by EQing it properly. The other thing that a lot of people don't think about, and it's really interesting how important it can be, especially on a motorcycle, because you're on something that's moving and all the sound is pulling away from you. So if you set time delay on a motorcycle so that the sound fairings and from the saddlebags right next to you and even the tour pack behind you, you set the time delay for everything to hit your ears at the same time, and you get overall increased volume. Because now you don't have this movement of, the tour pack behind you is just this much far, a few inches further away than the saddlebag right below you, or maybe it's even closer. And so, but you have all these different distances. Same thing in a car when we're doing time delay in a car. You've got different distances where though the fairing, you're sitting in the middle of the fairing, but they're further away than the saddlebags. And the saddlebags are a different distance than the tour pack. Or if you don't have a tour pack and you put something in the side of the saddlebag. So all these different speakers at different locations, you get a sound that's not optimum. So now if you do time delay for everything, now you get a more optimized sound.
Bryan, I was bringing this up but I didn't even get to why I think I'm about to say is the game changer. This is not even the game changer. This is cool. This is great. This is obvious. Happy you came up with it. I see the purpose. The game changer that I'm going to stamp game changer is this on the bottom right here.
Yes, the integrated DSP. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's, if you don't mind, let's take away. We don't need to look at it. Let's go back to our 3-frame here. What I believe Cerwin Vega has literally clued in on is listening to customers, listening to the market. I think that new product right there represents the next generation of, high level, high performance, outdoor sport vehicle audio.
Right.
It's compact. We know the spaces that we're working with are tight. We know the challenges, like you just mentioned, Brian, with the time delays and the crossovers, depending on the vehicle that you're working on. And some of these are super high output drivers, right? And these pro drivers.
Right.
That footprint right there, that includes a multi-channel amplifier. It includes multi-channel DSP with output to either upgrade an existing non-DSP amplified system or to start from scratch and build one, because you mentioned there's a mono version that will have DSP, either or.
Yes.
The fact that it has the Bluetooth built in. Jared,
yes.
This is a game-changing device.
I think I'll say it now. I think it's going the direction. I'm gonna check this box. We'll see where we go in a year's time. That DSP is going the way of no longer being an option. It's going to be a necessity. Like Brian was talking about the gain pots and your crossover pots, and if anyone has ever played with oscilloscopes or anything, seeing how much a gain changes or a crossover changes with the tiniest bit of movement in some of those pots, I think it's going to be a necessity going forward that amplifiers just have DSPs in them. I think going forward, it's going to be a necessity. It's not going to be an option within an amplifier. I think our industry is going that way, and I think I'll call it now. I think it's going to happen in the next couple of years where all the amplifiers are going to have DSPs.
It's headed that way, but to see it come out in this form factor for this application is really nice to see.
Yeah, and the size difference that Brian said within like a 6-channel amplifier to the 6-channel amplifier with the DSP, the companies are changing their board layouts, and it's gained by, you said, less than an inch in size difference. Yeah. It's huge, and especially that's more important, I think, within the motorcycle and motorsports industry than it is within the cars, because you're limited on those space.
We're so limited on space that when we saw the difference in and literally on a 4-channel amp, it was like maybe a millimeter or two over a 1/4 inch, if that. It was we were just like, wow, nothing changes for us, right? That 1/4 inch, yeah, that's a difference, but it's not typically enough that it's going to matter for our customers fitting, a DSP amplifier and then a non-DSP amplifier in the top of a fairing, and then you don't have to worry about it. The DSP is built in, everything's good to go, and we create phenomenal sounding stereo systems with very little real estate available.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Brian, yeah. I'm going to let you go, but I want to give you the last word here. You've gone through top to bottom, all different categories, some, sneak peeks on what's coming down the pipe. What message do you have for dealers tuning in who like, Cerwin Vega?
We touched on a few products that are like kind of the key categories right now. And there's stuff that we missed that we didn't have time to cover in this show. But take a look at Cerwin Vega. We've got tons available in subwoofers, in other speaker options, other amplifier options that are not necessarily compact for this stuff, but fantastic amplifiers that we have. And if you guys really want to have fun, we still have the Stroker Pro Classics. Like you mentioned, the original Stroker sub. We have the new version of that available still. Just there's so much that Cerwin Vega has to offer that if you're not familiar with what we can do, you should take a look at it.
Very best. Brian, thank you so much for coming in today, man.
Thank you guys for having me. I always appreciate being here.
I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Have a good.
So, Mr. Jaron, I know Cerwin Vega is new to you, not new to Importel, but new to the Viking. Summarize. What did you learn? What's your thoughts on this moving forward?
I learned that there's a huge amount of offerings out there from Cerwin Vega. Certainly, like Brian said, they have over 500 SKUs. We kind of touched on some important ones for dealers to keep on their radar. And back to solutions, like that's a very hit word, is solutions based, and that's what our industry is looking for. It's what dealers are looking for, is solutions. Let's expand our clientele base. I think if you aren't already within the market of motorcycles, side-by-sides, marine, you need to get there. I think it's the direction people spend a lot of money on their toys, and let's go in the directions, and Cerwin Vega will help you with some of these solutions and build great systems for these customers that are out there looking for it.
Awesome. So as Brian mentioned, check out the entire offering. There's a lot to look at there. Here's the official website, cerwinvega.com. Hit the mobiles tab, and then you'll get to all the stuff that we talked about today. And if you happen to be in Canada, we'll get a hold of Importel. Jared and his team standing by. Importel.com. You could be the next Cerwin Vega dealer. Thanks so much, Jared. That was a good one.
Thanks, Ben.
Cheers. All right, guys, not many more episodes left in this season. And more importantly, only 4 days left before we draw the big contest. 2 winners to win a trip to MasterTech Expo 2023. Head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway and sign up already. We're 23rd of November. That's when we're drawing it. While you're on our website, check out all the other great videos we've done with trainer Bryan Piper and Importel, for that matter, on cmanetworks.com. It's where the 12-volt industry connects. That's it for the CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Let's talk about today where I'm going to go.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?